Hey there, it's Darcy. Welcome back to Featherwood Farm. We're in the front yard in the daydream garden, and I'm just kind of moving a few things around and planting a few things, filling in some gaps up here. So in the May garden tour, I talked about a gap that I had right here in this front bed behind this boxwood, and I said I had a wine and spirits weigela, but I was afraid it was going to be too dark of a foliage to put in with all this existing dark foliage. I think I was overthinking it. I placed it here in its container and it looks great. I think it's going to be actually the perfect addition, so that's nice. I didn't have to get anything else, although I did go to a few nurseries and just stare at things for a long time and purchase nothing. So that will be going in today. I want to pull out a couple of those nepitas that I have in the front, get those put somewhere else. I will be planting a few heucheras that I got and a couple of geraniums. It was those dark rider geraniums. And then I'm also going to be getting that eclipse hydrangea planted. And I think all of those things are going to go right in front of the house in that bed. And that I'm going to use to break up kind of that just sea of green, that really monochromatic green, really needs to be shaken up a bit. So that is the plan for today. Hopefully I can get it all done and maybe get a few other things planted. I have some stuff on the other side of this bed as well that needs to go in, but it's supposed to get pretty hot, and the weekend is going to get even hotter into the 80s, so I don't want to be planting when it's all that warm. Yeah, so we'll see how much I get done. Okay, so this is the wine and spirits weigela. It says full sun, and I think it should receive that in this area. I believe when I did my sun calculations a couple years ago, this bed gets about 7 hours of sun and then some dappled light here and there. 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, so it should be the perfect size for this space. And you can see, like, the foliage is dark, but it's a lot of green as well. And I think it darkens up more in the sun and more as the leaves mature. And then the flowers are kind of this creamy white color. But we'll get that in. I did have some of my roses up here, but I took them out when I decided that I wanted all the roses, with exception of the climbing roses, to be in planters. So that kind of created a gap right here and a gap over there that I have to fill as well. It's a little tight in here. I have been adding the Espoma Organics Biotone starter fertilizer for a lot of my perennials and shrubs, and that is a first for me this year. But I got it because since I was planting so many tiny plants, so many plugs and bare roots, I thought that it would be nice to kind of give them a bit of a head start. It has a lot of beneficial mycorrhizae and everything. So, okay, that is in. I think that is going to fill out the space quite nicely. And so the bug banes, the foliage doesn't grow tall. The foliage kind of will stay about that height, maybe about up to here, as they mature and fill out over here, but then the plumes will just shoot up really tall, dance. Oh, they're the best. If you don't have bugbane in your garden, you should. This variety tolerates sun a little bit better, but they are a very shade tolerant plant, which we always need more of those. So I actually enjoy weeding. Like, I like to take a day once a week where I just go through and weed the beds. I haven't really been able to do it yet. That's kind of like my summer routine, because I've just been reworking all of these beds and weeding as I go. But when I don't have time to get in and just, pull them out with my weeder, honestly, the hoe it's great. And while you're not pulling out the root system, you are cutting off all of the foliage, which carries the energy down to the root system, enabling them to continue growing. So you are, in essence, weakening it. So these I want to stain or paint or whatever, black, and then I'll get those installed. I might need to get some of those like spikes to set them in, and then they'll kind of block all of this infrastructure there. Okay, shovel. So we're gonna take this boxwood and move that kind of in this corner. So I might have to take out one of these anemone seedlings. No, actually, I'll come in the front. I'll take out these. Yeah, like right now, I will have to take that out. Yeah, so we'll relocate this anemone seedling here. Oops. Oh, nail. And we'll take out some of these daffodils. Clear the area here. Yeah. This and the little drift right here will look quite nice. These are the Dark Rider geraniums. They get 9 to 15 inches tall and should be spaced 18 inches apart. And they'll have a nice mounded habit. Interestingly, here are a couple of geraniums. And I remember putting in some bare roots last year, and I thought they just completely died back. I saw nothing come from them, and now here we are. So they're gonna stay there for now. I can't even think about that right now. They are probably Roxanne, maybe Patricia geraniums, if I'm remembering correctly. These do say full sun, and I think that they should just barely get that here. And if I see that they're performing poorly and it seems that it's due to lack of sunlight, then, you know, we'll just move them. But this front garden area is kind of a tricky one. And if that elm tree were to have been removed like I thought, then it definitely would have been full sun up here. All right, I guess right here I can put that little chunk of anemone that we dug up. Okay, that one. Yeah, so I'll have to bring a little shovel full of soil for right there. Okay, so this little planter is doing excellent. This lemon coral sedum is doing really well, filling out quite lovely. I'm just gonna set that aside for now. There is a lily bulb. Why is there a lily bulb in there? Who knows? Okay. So right here, I have a peony. That'll kind of fill out that section. These are the, oh, here we go. I have the name, Lowscape Mound Aronias. I thought they might have been the ground hug. There are a lot of varieties of them. And I'm not gonna compost these or anything. I'm just gonna put them like in an area of the property where I kind of don't care what they do. So maybe back by our sugar shack. Little difficult to dig out just because of all the little runners that they send. Okay, that was a way bigger challenge than I thought it was going to be for something so tiny. Set those aside. Okay, that one was much easier. They really are lovely shrubs, you know, when they're able to grow the way that they should. Okay, so thinking like right here, because these don't get very large. I don't have the tag, but I think it's maybe 3 feet tall and wide. So yeah, this should be a good spot for it. If I have to kind of nudge some of these Astrantias back, that's no issue. Here's a walnut. It was starting to sprout there. Cut it right in half. No, thank you. This is already starting to get some flowers. I believe this is a reblooming variety also. Okay, so we've added a couple of pops of dark foliage. That will be nice to break up the monotony. And now let's throw in those heucheras. Okay, so we've added some dark foliage over here, dark foliage over on that side. I'm thinking putting these heucheras, sorry, over here somewhere. Astrantias don't get very tall, and these heucheras will get 10 to 12 inches tall. So they'll actually probably be about the same height, not including the height of the blooms on these. But the foliage mounds themselves don't get very tall. So I think even setting them behind should not be much of an issue, because we're going for that pop of color. That's the primary objective. Okay, they need to be spaced 14 to 16 inches apart. Let's see. How do we feel about that? I think I like that. Or maybe something like that. Okay, there we go. So these are just a 4-inch container that one of my local nurseries, they sell a few varieties of heucheras in the 4-inch containers, and obviously the price is significantly less. It's probably at least half, but sometimes like a third as much as the larger containers. And they catch up in growth really quickly. So if you can be just a little bit more patient, you can save yourself some money by getting these smaller container sizes. But yeah, one of the drawbacks would be that they're not available in every kind of cultivar